It's time to grab your balls. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name's Chad. This is Tabula Rasa Farm. Today's video brings us inside the garage. We are canning pickles today. The reason why we're doing it here in the garage is I can on a propane burner. I could can on my stovetop, but it's hot. That's why I got my buff on. We're gonna get some pickles canned up. This recipe we're gonna be doing today is for a refrigerator pickle, but I'm starting to run out of fridge space. I got too many of these jars in there. I can't eat them quick enough. So we're gonna try and can them up today. Stay tuned. Now this is not gonna be a how-to canning video. This is just gonna show you the recipe that I like to use and how I make it. I'm still fairly new at canning. I don't feel comfortable giving a video of how to can because there are a lot of pretty strict guidelines that you need to follow. And if you do mess something up, if I mess something up and I tell you all the wrong information, it's not a good thing. So I always recommend following FDA guidelines, get a book. I have a ball canning book. Get a book, read about it, watch a lot of YouTube videos. There's a lot of people out here on YouTube that are really good canners that you could follow. I, not necessarily am one of them. However, I am gonna share this recipe with you so you could take this recipe in conjunction with how to can or can your own way, make some great pickles. Now what you're gonna need for this is obviously a canner of some sort. If you're just doing refrigerator pickles, you can omit the canner, you don't need that. If you just wanna throw a jar or two together, if you only got like 1 or 2 cucumber plants and your cucumbers aren't putting on like mine are, go ahead and do refrigerator pickles. These things are great and they will be ready in 24 hours. I would suggest waiting 3-4 days, but 24 hours you can definitely eat them and they are delicious. So you'll need a canner. All the ingredients that I have lined up over here, I've already got pre-measured out. A pot for the brine. You're gonna need some jars, whether you make refrigerator pickles or not. If you're making refrigerator pickles, you can make this in an old pickle jar. You don't necessarily have to have canning type jars to make this. A canning funnel definitely helps. A ladle. I've got tongs to grab the jars out of the canner. I think that's about it. Most important thing though, a nice cold cup of water because it is hot out here. Let's get into the recipe. So the recipe we're making today, like I said, is a refrigerator pickle. We're gonna can it, we're gonna try it out, see what happens. The recipe that I'm gonna tell you and that I'm gonna put this recipe down in the description section down below. While you're down there reading over it, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. Doesn't cost you anything, it only takes a millisecond to do that and it really helps us out. And we do appreciate all the subscribers that we've been getting. We've been getting a handful of subscribers the last couple days. I want to welcome you all to the farm. If you've got any suggestions, leave them down there in the comments. But we're going to get back to this recipe. So the recipe makes 1 quart of pickles. You use approximately a pound of cucumbers and you use 1 small onion, 1 cup of cider vinegar or white vinegar, whichever vinegar you prefer. I prefer cider vinegar because it gives it quite a zing. You need 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use Splenda. 1 tablespoon of canning and pickling salt. I happen to use Celtic sea salt. Is that the right thing to do? I don't know, but that's what I do. So use your own judgment. And 1 teaspoon of pickle spice in the brine. And then each jar will get 2 teaspoons of pickling spice when we load all the cucumbers and things into these jars. You're just gonna fill the jars with the vegetables, pour the brine over, put the lid on, put it in your fridge if you're making refrigerator pickles, or you'll do a water bath process that we're gonna do today. Again, this is not a how-to video, I'm just showing you what I do. Okay, one of the most important steps in canning and the canning process is having things sterile. So what I'm getting ready to go do, I got my jars sitting in the canner with water. It's already kind of preheated. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna turn it on. We're gonna boil it for about 10 minutes just to kill any yuckies that are in there or anything. And then we're gonna start loading up these jars. Actually, we need to get the brine over there, get it cooked up, and then we're gonna start loading these jars. So we'll be back with you in a few minutes after we get these jars sanitized. All right, y'all, we got the jars over here sanitizing in the canner. If you hear a little bit of rattling, that's just my canner lid. It's sitting over here on the burner, boiling away. While that's going, we're gonna go ahead and start getting this brine together. So I've got a pot here that we're gonna cook this brine in. I'm making enough brine to do 7 quart jars. So if you only want to do, the recipe I'm going to tell you is going to be for 1 quart at a time, but obviously I'm going to be putting a lot more than that in here. In this pot here, you're going to put 1 cup of water. And to that, you're going to add 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then you're also going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. I use Splenda. 1 tablespoon of canning pickling salt. I use Celtic sea salt. And then 1/2 teaspoon of pickling spice in this brine. Try not to slop it on yourself like I just did. Now we're going to stir it up. Try and get all that sugar and salt incorporated. Of course, when we get it on the fire, we'll get it up to a simmer. You don't have to simmer it long, you just need to simmer it long enough to get the brine hot to be able to add to the jars. So once these are done sanitizing, should only be a couple more minutes. We'll throw this on the fire, get it going. We'll bring you back, we'll start filling up jars. All right, y'all, we got jars all sanitized. We got our pot of brine here that just came off. It just started to boil. That's all you need to do. We got a really hot jar out of the canner that is freshly sanitized. So what we're going to do here is we're going to start loading these jars up. Now, one thing I didn't mention in the recipe that I'm trying, I've never tried before, are these Pickle Crisp granules. Ball makes these. It's supposed to keep your pickles really crisp. We're going to test that theory because we're going to make a jar without it. All the rest of them we're going to do with it because I don't think it affects anything if you do or don't do it, except for the crispiness of the pickle. I love a crisp pickle. We're going to make one without it, and then in a few weeks we'll pull them both out. We'll do a side-by-side comparison between them, and I got a marker to mark the lid so we know which one it is. Which it's going to be, this first one is going to be the one we're going to do without this Pickle Crisp, and then everything else we're going to put Pickle Crisp in there. The ball says that you need a 1/4 teaspoon per quart size jar, so that's what we're going to put in our jars today. So what we've got is we've got a bunch of onion cut up here. I just sliced these up earlier this morning inside the house, and we're going to add those. We're going to add that to the jars. We got a few different things that we're going to go ahead and can today. I've got some green beans and some sliced okra in here that I just pulled out of the garden yesterday. It's not a whole bunch to really do anything with, so we'll throw it in here with some of this, which is zucchini coins. They're just round slices of zucchini. I'm gonna try and pickle those too. I love pickled everything, so we'll go ahead and do these as well. We've got some baby whole dills that we cut the stem end and the blossom end off of because I've heard that there's something in the blossom end that makes the pickles, if there's an enzyme in the blossom end that makes the pickle soft. Nobody likes a soft pickle, so I went ahead and cut off both ends so just so the pickling brine will penetrate the pickle a lot easier. And then I got a pretty good sized bowl here of pickle coins, or cucumber coins that we're gonna pickle. I prefer mine really thick because who doesn't love a thick pickle? You can slice them to however you like them. These are about between 1/4 and 3/8 inch thick, approximately. So they're a fairly thick pickle. They will shrink down a little bit once after they're canned and they're pickling. That's what we're gonna do today. So the first thing we gotta do is we've gotta add our pickling spice. I get this pickling spice off of Amazon. I'll leave a link down below. It's just an easy pickling spice. You can make your own. There's tons of recipes out there on the internet that you can look up. I prefer to buy mine. It just seems a lot easier. This is the pickling spice I use. Like I said, there'll be a link down below. I'm not affiliate with these guys. It's just a spice that I enjoy and I want to share it with you guys. So again, this is a recipe is per jar, and we need 2 teaspoons of pickling spice in the bottom of the jar. And then the recipe calls for 1 small onion, so we're just gonna do a handful of onion. I love pickled onion, so it doesn't matter if I put extra in there or not. It adds a really good flavor to the pickles, I think. Now, like I said, you can adjust this recipe. You can add hot peppers to this if you want to make it a little spicy. do whatever you like. Try out different things. I'm gonna be trying out lots of different things throughout the season. I'm gonna bring you guys along with me. And then the next thing we do is we're just gonna start stuffing it with these cucumber coins. Now the trick here is you wanna pack them as tight as you possibly can inside of this jar, because they will can a lot easier, and they'll just be you'll get a more consistent jar of pickles that way. I also mentioned before too that I was doing 7 quarts worth of brine. I don't know if I'm gonna get 7 quarts of pickles, which is fine. You can just save the brine in another jar, throw it in the fridge, use it for later. You can use it to top off your refrigerator pickles, because when you do refrigerator style pickles with this recipe, I've also found that you can use the brine twice. You go in there, eat all the pickles out, slice up some more, throw them in there, let them sit for a couple of days. They're not quite as good. They still pickle fine, and they taste pretty good. So another quick tip there, and if you got some extra laying around, or not laying around, but in the jar in the fridge, then that's what you could use it for. So we got our canning funnel here. I'm just gonna plop this on the top here, and I have a ladle. And now we're just gonna fill the jar up. We're gonna fill it up to about a 1/2 inch headspace, which is just this ring right here. About like that. We got this tool, it's called the debubbler. I'm just gonna kind of slide this down the inside of the pickles here, and it's gonna release any air pockets or anything that we've got in there, because air pockets will drop the level of your pickling brine and leave some pickles left out of the party here, and we don't want to do that. Debubbled, ours looks pretty good. Next thing we got to do is we got to take a piece of paper towel or a lint-free cloth of some sort, and you want to wipe this rim off. You don't want any little pieces of anything to get between your jar and your lid, or it won't get a good seal. That is not a new lid, that is an old lid. This is a brand new lid and ring. So we just put that on until you hit resistance, a little bit more finger tight, and that's it. So this is the one that we don't have Pickle Crisp in. So we are gonna mark a small X on the top of the jar so you guys can see it. I don't know if that's in focus or not, but there's a small X right there I just marked on the top of the jar. This permanent marker will stay on when it's in the canner, so it should come out with that still on there. So we'll be seeing this guy in a couple of weeks, along with the next one that we're gonna do. So I'm gonna get the rest of these jars out. I'm gonna see what we get filled up in there. We're gonna be using the exact same process with all of them. So we'll come back to you when we get the canner full. All right, y'all, I got a full canner I didn't think I was gonna get, and I still have a little bit of zucchini left over, but it's not enough to run a second batch of this, but we'll take that in the house and do something else with it. So next step, we drop these down in the boiling water, get the water to a boil, and we process quarts for 15 minutes. So we'll see you when they're done. All right, y'all, here we have it. We got 7 quarts of pickles here that we just got done canning. They just processed for 15 minutes in there. One thing I did fail to mention earlier when we were talking about the recipe, I was saying that you can use apple cider vinegar. You can use any kind of vinegar you want, and that is true. You can use apple cider vinegar, white vinegar, distilled, not distilled. You can use the natural vinegar with the mother, which is a fermented, has probiotics and things, which this process is going to kill all the probiotic anyway. So I would probably, if you wanted to use apple cider vinegar, I would probably use just regular apple cider vinegar that doesn't have the mother. It's not going to cost you as much. The one part I did fail to mention though is you can use any kind of vinegar. It just has to be at least a 5% acidity. That's really important when you're canning this way with the water bath, because if you use anything that's lower acidity than that, you need to pressure can these items because the acidity level in these jars is not going to be high enough to be shelf stable. That's about it. Like I said, check out the recipe. It's going to be down here below. I'm going to link to some of the stuff that we use here today also down there from Amazon. While you're down there, again, give us a thumbs up. Maybe subscribe to our channel. We appreciate all of you. You guys are what makes us tick. So we appreciate you, and we'll see y'all on the next one.